E3 2018 just wrapped up, and we have a lot to talk about. This is Now Loading, a video game podcast. Hey guys, welcome back. This is your host, Zach, coming to you live from New York. And you may have been able to tell that we now have a name for the podcast, so we're really stepping up our game. Once again, I'm joined by Kyle in Pennsylvania.
What's going on, people?
And Casey in Los Angeles.
What's happening?
So, we are here to discuss all things E3. We saw a ton of announcements, and again, we're just going to kind of go through conference by conference, game by game, and take a deep dive into what we really saw and what games we liked and what we're most excited for. But before we do that, I just want to get your guys' initial reactions. Kyle, what did you think of all the press conferences?
Man, I got to catch a good bit of most of all of them, and I was pretty excited, man. There were some titles that I'm definitely looking forward to. The Xbox stuff, not as much because I'm not really on that scene, but the PlayStation and Switch stuff, looking awesome. I'm pretty excited for all that stuff.
Nice, Casey.
Yeah, overall, I think it was a pretty solid E3. I think some parties didn't have as many mic drop moments as past years, aka Sony. But I think Bethesda killed it, and I think Nintendo has some exciting stuff, and even Xbox I'm pretty excited about. So overall, solid.
Nice.
Solid B+, guys, for the E3.
Awesome. So I didn't tell Casey and Kyle what we're going to do next, but we have a new segment to the show that I'm calling Quick Cuts.
What?
And so,
What? I was not
surprised, guys.
I wasn't consulted about this new segment.
Maybe there's a jingle for this segment too. I don't know. We'll see what we come up with. But real quick, Casey, give me your top 3 announcements from all of E3. No explanation behind any game.
Oh, wow. Okay. I got to go Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Very excited about that. Wow.
Putting you on the spot. No explanation. Just list 3 games.
Starfield. I'm pulling that one out of the future. Doom Eternal for sure. I'm very excited about that.
Okay,
one.
perfect. And Kyle, what are your 3 quick cuts?
Okay, quick cuts. I might have gotten inordinately excited about this one, but Super Mario Party, because that's one that the whole family can have fun with. You know, I'm a Mario Party guy. That's number 3, though. That's not, 2 and 1. But, man, I don't know about number 2, but I'm going to jump right to 1. Sekiro Shadows Die Twice is my number 1, because I'm a From Software, Soulsborne kind of guy. So that one looked awesome. I'm excited for that a lot, for sure.
Cool. And now let's just go conference by conference and game by game. And to start off, once again, Electronic Arts. Looking at this conference, I don't know if they really needed their own one. They didn't really announce anything new. And they didn't really show too much that I saw. But what we talked about in our preview podcast was, I wonder if they'll change. And kind of how they started off with was, we promised to change. Just listen to us, guys. We will. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
It reminds me of the Facebook ad that's on right now that's like, it was a place for your moments with family.
Do you notice every commercial is like that right now? I've been watching.
Well, that everyone's apologizing or what?
Yeah, there's a Wells Fargo one where they apologize.
Oh, yeah, because they screwed up big time as well.
Yeah, there's an Uber one where they apologize. It's not.
Yeah, that's her.
Yeah, go ahead, Casey.
Certainly seems to be the theme for 2018 is just a lot of apologies being dealt out, but
so
what can you do? I'm
excited to open a loot box, and when I open that loot box, out will come an Electronic Arts apology commercial. So
yeah, or just yeah, exactly. I had something cool. I had something real sick to add on to that, but then it just never came out. So.
Thank you for your additional commentary.
Yeah, it's only the second podcast, guys. Just wait. On the 3rd one, I'll have my shit together. So.
You'll nail
it.
Besides that, they went into Battlefield 5, and of course, they announced this as everyone expected they did. They're going to do a Battle Royale mode for Battlefield 5. It makes sense. These games already, we played Battlefield 4 a bunch. already had like 64 player multiplayer, so just add 36 more people in there. You got 100 and can do battle royale. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think it totally makes sense for Battlefield since they already kind of cater towards that really large map kind of multiplayer. So, I mean, that's all the hype right now is the Battle Royale stuff. So, I think it was very much expected and makes sense. I'm sure it'll do great.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Animal Crossing Battle Royale. That's the one I'm looking forward to. No, I'm just kidding. But
Ooh, yeah.
no, I just think it makes sense for them to do it. That's the craze. I loved Battlefront. That's an unpopular opinion, but I like Star Wars in the game a lot. And those big battles. I did play a little bit of Battlefield 4 as well, but those big battles get pretty epic. So add 36 more. Let's do it. It's pretty tight.
Cool. And then they did actually announce a new game, a sequel, Unravel 2, which was a sequel to a platformer game. That's pretty fun. It's more of a shorter game, but it is fun. You kind of play as a ball of yarn, I guess, and use your yarn to solve puzzles and do some platforming. And the cool thing about this announcement was it's one of the times where they announced the game and actually dropped the game on the same day, which I'd love to see more. I think that's really exciting. I think it's actually a really good way to get people to buy your game because people are just en masse watching E3 and they just want to grab any new thing they can. So for a smaller title like this, I think it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, they Beyonce'd that. It was nice.
Yeah, very, very nice drop. I actually did play the first Unravel game, and I didn't quite beat it, but I thought it was overall looked amazing and had great music, and the platforming wasn't my favorite, but it was definitely a charming game, so I was surprised and happy to see them drop another one.
Yeah, that's exactly how I felt about it. I played it a little bit. My roommate back in San Francisco kind of told me, he's like, you got to play this because it's on EA Access. He's like, you got to play this Unravel game, and definitely very charming, very enthralling with the music. Excited to check out the second one as well. And then finally, with Electronic Arts, we got more news on Anthem, which is something we are really excited to hear. And they gave us a release date of February 22nd, 2019. Are you guys excited for this one? Seems like no. Seems like no one is excited for this game.
In case it got edited out, that was like 30 seconds of silence after he asked that question. So, to be honest, it's not really a game that's on my radar. I mean, it's just like, I don't know. Casey?
Yeah, I was kind of waiting to hear your guys' response first because honestly, to me, the game looks cool, but it also looks like another kind of like Destiny-esque type game, which definitely is really popular with a lot of people. But I've tried those games and I just can't get my teeth sunk into them. So we'll see. Maybe it has something different to offer. But as far as the persistent kind of multiplayer online game, I'm just not super into it, but it definitely looks pretty cool overall.
Yeah, sometimes like I don't know exactly if this is how it's going to be, but the games that there's no real end goal in sight, like that's the way I felt about Destiny, was like you just keep doing things, but you don't really have like a reason to be doing them, and it just feels kind of odd. I don't know if that's how this game's going to end up, but it seems like after a while you're just like, I don't need to be jumping on this every day anymore. So.
It's amazing how much bad blood Destiny has earned for that entire genre of games where people is like, I know it's a different studio, but again, it's EA. So EA combined with a Destiny type game, it seems like a recipe for disaster, but we'll see. And gameplay wise, it looks really good. I mean, graphically, it looks really good. So
yeah, I'm going to wait till one of you guys buy it. One of you guys can buy it, and then I'll come over and like check it out for like 10 minutes, and then I'll be set.
There we go.
Sounds like a plan.
That's how games work sometimes. That's how you buy them. Let's move on to the next day. That was all that was on Saturday, really. A pretty lame Saturday for E3. It's weird how they do E3 in general with Sunday and Monday being the main days and not Saturday and Sunday, but I don't know why that is.
Monday is the new Friday.
Apparently that's what it is. But on Sunday, we got a lot out of this one. We had Microsoft who basically went 2 hours long here announcing a ton of stuff. and more so than just first-party titles, they announced a lot of third-party titles that will be cross-platform, and we'll kind of go through those as well. But they started off big. They didn't show us much, but they told us that Halo Infinite is coming. And with Halo Infinite is a new art style, kind of going back to the old art style, and a new game engine. So I think they listened to fans. They are trying to go back to what people really loved about the Halo series originally, kind of going back to letting you play as Master Chief more and just trying to relive those moments from back in 2001 when Halo first came out.
Yeah, it's I mean, I'm not an Xbox guy, like I said, but it's definitely going to bring back PTSD from my middle school days of the LAN party in my friend's basement, everyone making fun of me, how I'm just spinning in circles and looking at the ceiling. That was my first Halo experience. And
The two joystick thing you couldn't figure out. Could you?
yeah, but eventually I got it. I was used to the GoldenEye one joystick system, so.
Have you guys gone back and tried to play GoldenEye? It's like impossible now.
Yeah, it has aged horribly.
I strangely had a similar first experience with Halo 1 back in the day. Like, I kind of went to a friend's house after it'd been out for a while, and I tried to, like, just pick it up and play, but the dual stick thing was totally throwing me off, and I was just getting murdered left and right. So overall, that's why I hate Halo to this day.
But I do think it's cool
Just
that
kidding.
they're bringing back a little bit of the roots of the series, though, because people love the series for
It does,
for that era. So.
It does have like a definite like visual kind of throwback look to it, to like the earlier Halo games, which I did play 1 and 2, which were really cool. And
Red versus Blue.
I'm also excited about the new engine. Oh yeah.
Yeah, they didn't really show us much besides that. They kind of just told us these facts. They didn't give us a release date or anything.
World premiere.
They didn't show us any gameplay or anything. It's just like, it's coming, trust us. And I like that they dropped the numbering system too. I think it's something we've seen from a lot of games where once you get high enough, it's like, okay, we get it. You know what I mean? Like,
Halo 69.
Just take it back to 1.
Yeah, like Halo 6 doesn't sound as good. Halo Infinite sounds kind of cool though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sounds cool to me.
Their next announcement, this one had been announced before, but we kind of got more gameplay and more footage of it. Ori and the Will of the Wisp. It's a Metroidvania style game, which will have you backtracking, platforming. The first one was super, super fun. Exclusive to Xbox. I think it's one of their better exclusive titles, which is surprising because it's more of a budget title as well, where it normally comes in less than $30. Have you guys checked out the first one? Have you heard anything about it?
I heard it was a great game. I haven't played it, but honestly, those games, as well as like Cuphead and some of those other indies, are kind of like the big reasons I would get an Xbox. I still don't have one, but I would definitely pick those games up if I got one. And I think they look like beautiful.
Yeah, Cuphead is. I didn't have it written down here. They did announce some new DLC for it, which is exciting. Kyle and I played Cuphead,
I was about to
and
say.
it was a struggle for Kyle. It's a hard game. It's a very hard game.
Yeah. Now listen, guys.
than Dark
Before you
Souls.
get the wrong idea, soon there's going to be some gameplay on the channel. I'm not like the worst gamer in the world by any stretch of the imagination, but there are some things in gaming that just, really irk me and just like, it's everyone's been there, but Cuphead was like, I wanted to. Oh man, I was getting heated, and it's a great. I think it has one of the coolest art styles I've ever seen in a video game. But I'm also, a really big fan of like the really old Looney Tunes cartoons and the 20s animation. So that was awesome.
Yeah, the art style is amazing. Very difficult game, which is good because it's a short game as well, so it kind of keeps you occupied for a while, despite it being short.
Yeah, and the little part where it shows you that you almost got to like it shows your progress. That's so addicting because you're just like, if I only would have gotten a little further, I would have been here, and it's
I would
awesome.
have beat the boss. It's a lot of memorization of patterns, but it's fun. I enjoy it, so I'm excited for the DLC.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
It'll be interesting to see how much the DLC costs for that, because the game itself was only $20. So a lot of DLC that comes out. You got
$25.
like Assassin's Creed season pass, $70 or whatever they are now.
My God.
That's not that much, but I think they're like 50, so not that much hyperbole.
$70
You
in your
got-
firstborn child.
You guys will like this next game I'm going to bring up. And I was kind of surprised to be seen at the Xbox conference, kind of out of nowhere. Shadows Die Twice.
Whoop.
Oh yeah.
Whoop.
Yeah, I'm super stoked for this game. Obviously a From Software game, and I think they produce only top quality material if you're into like their kind of style of games. This one seems to be a bit of a departure. It definitely kind of has that Bloodborne-esque kind of feel to it, but even like on more cocaine and just really amped up, and ninjas
How do you
are
know what
jumping
that
around and
is?
stuff.
How do you know what cocaine is?
Yeah.
I've read it in a book.
On
Okay,
Reddit,
that's
you heard
all.
about
I thought you said a subreddit. I was like, you on the cocaine subreddit?
R
I
slash
check out the cocaine
cocaine.
subreddit.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Go ahead.
Don't go
Go
there.
ahead.
We don't know what that is, so don't visit that.
Yeah, please don't. But yeah. My take on it too. Like I said, this is the game I'm most excited about. I'm a huge
Wow, that's like crazy. Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, like I love Bloodborne and I love the personality. I'm a huge Dark Souls fan as well, but I think like Bloodborne notched it up with like just like interesting characters, interesting locations. To me, it appealed a little bit more with that whole atmosphere and theme. And this one seems a little even more over the top and wild and just all over the place. So I think they're going in the right direction with, they have the gameplay is so solid, but it looks like the world has even more personality than it's ever had in a Soulsborne.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Like, I think the From Software games they just like ooze with this twisted style. And when Neo came out a couple years ago, that's kind of what I was hoping would kind of be the same as Bloodborne, but like samurai setting.
Yeah.
But it didn't quite have the same amount of style and like twistedness as the From games have. So this kind of looks to fill that void.
Yeah,
there.
totally agree. I thought Neo was cool to an extent, but it's just not From, so.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about that in more detail once we get to the Sony conference. But moving on, speaking of a game that's going probably in the right direction, a franchise that's going in the right direction, this one kind of excited me, and I haven't even played any of these games, but it looks really good. Devil May Cry 5. Updated art style. I watched a gameplay video afterwards where they said, how do we modernize this game? And they kind of are modernizing the art style and making it more realistic, but taking that same gameplay that Capcom was known for with the Devil May Cry series and modernizing that.
Yeah, I've always heard really good things about this series. I haven't myself played much of it. I might have tried it back in the day a little bit, but it's a beat 'em up. Am I right? Like a
hack and slash kind of thing.
Yeah, I believe that's correct. We
Yeah.
know so much about Devil May Cry. But
yeah.
the new one looks cool, so I think
it's a
half the
video
battle.
game.
It is a video game.
So you plug
There's been four of them.
the box into the TV, and then
Yeah, it definitely uses a TV, I think.
I'm excited for that.
Cool, I'm glad.
Yeah.
All the Devil May Cry fans are really gonna love our podcast. So.
Yeah, the developers of that may cry
Yeah.
if they hear what we just said about it. But, you know what I'm saying? Anyway,
That was
Yeah, one of those classic games I
amazing
just
pun.
also never played.
I'm here for the pun, Zach. I really am.
we need someone.
We need a pun. Everyone needs a pun guy.
And then if we did my quick cuts, one of the games that I'm most excited about, Forza Horizon 4. I sent you guys gameplay of this game, and it looked better than I even thought it would. They're managing to hit 4K 60 frames per second on the Xbox One X.
Woo!
I played through all the Forza Horizons now. I was never like a major racing fan, but Forza Horizon does something that kind of captivates you and just hooks you. It adds RPG elements and open world elements into the racing genre, and kind of combining all those elements really brings out something special and makes you want to keep playing these games and kind of go for all the achievements. What did you guys think of the gameplay?
Yeah, I had played number 3 at your place actually a couple months ago, and I was just sitting there waiting for you to do something, and I was just like hooked as well for a couple hours. I thought it was awesome. I thought just the visuals is enough to blow you away, but of course the controls are really awesome, and hey, it just looks great. So
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to play these games since they're on Xbox, but as far as the visuals go, I think it's one of the best looking car games out there, which is saying a lot because there's a lot of good car games out there. But yeah, it looks great.
With Xbox Game Pass too, we talked about this on the last podcast, how all first-party Microsoft Studio games are going to Xbox Game Pass the day they launch, and I think this is the first one that people are like really excited about. Like that will get people to subscribe to Game Pass, and it's coming out sooner than I expected. It's coming out in October, so really excited for that one. And then when you talk about first-party studio games going to Game Pass, let's talk about the acquisition of 5 new studios for Microsoft Studios, and hopefully that helps out their first-party library. But the one I think that was the biggest surprise, and Casey, I know this one probably surprised you, is Ninja Theory.
Yeah, I was actually really surprised, but in a happy way, to hear that they acquired 5 studios, including the most prominent one probably being Ninja Theory. I think that's Microsoft's answer to their kind of lack of exclusives on this generation, and I think they're completely lining up their deck right now, and it'll still be several years before these studios come out with exclusive games, but I think it's what Microsoft had to do, and it's cool that they announced it and kind of provided that answer for their exclusive game.
If this is just might be off camera quick, but that's the one that did Neo and stuff.
That Ninja Theory is the one that did Hellblade.
Ninja Gaiden.
Yeah. Hellblade.
No.
Ninja Gaiden.
Sacrifice.
Ninja Gaiden, actually, if we go back to Ninja Gaiden.
Wait, I'm thinking of a different studio that I thought Ninja Theory did do Ninja Gaiden, or is it like Ninja?
I think they did.
Or is it like Team
and then
Ninja
they also
or
did
something
Hellblade.
like that?
Maybe.
I don't know.
Oh yeah, there's a lot
Yeah.
of
Anyway,
things. I don't know.
delete that.
We can look things up. We're on a computer, I guess. Let's look it up. You guys kill some time here.
But I think that development studio is extremely talented, as they displayed with Hellblade. Graphically, really good, and then the gameplay I thought was also great, and story. So I think it's a good acquisition.
This might make you guys laugh. Apparently, they did DMC Devil May Cry in 2013. So
Okay,
that makes a lot of sense now. That all adds up.
We're coming full circle
checks
here.
out.
Yeah. I think they're most known for Hellblade, though. So,
Great. Yep.
Yeah.
but I think with a bigger budget, they'll be able to do a lot more and kind of expand upon the type of games that they were building before. Anyway, let's move on to another couple exclusives on Microsoft's end. And this one I'm super excited about. No gameplay, no footage, not even cinematic. They just had words on the screen. But Battletoads is coming back.
Hey.
I think there's a very, very smart use of their license with Rare, and I've always been questioning why they didn't do something like this before. But new Battletoads, 3-player co-op on the couch. I love couch co-op games. I think there needs to be more.
I couldn't agree with you more. I'm such a co-op guy myself, because I think, half the reason why we all started playing video games was because it was our friends in a living room and we're trying to have the best time possible, and that's we need more of that. Online co-op and couch co-op, and Battletoads are a classic franchise. I want to see the Battletoads Double Dragon again. Bring that back.
There we go.
But I hope it is like a spin on the classic style of the beat 'em up genre, but take it to a new depth almost. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, definitely a cool announcement. It fell in line with the theme of just showing logos and titles on the screen, and that's it. But
Nintendo was crushing that recently with Super Smash Bros. Originally when they announced it, and Metroid Prime 4. Just a logo, just Pokemon.
Yeah, it's like when you do your homework 5 minutes before before it's due.
Yeah.
He's like, wait, hold on. We have another slot we didn't think about. Dude, Battletoads, I don't know. Just write something down.
Just type it
that's
in.
what EA did with Anthem. They copied off someone else.
Yeah.
At the last second.
Right.
Oh, Anthem. That's like Destiny?
Yeah.
And then their biggest announcement, I think, Microsoft had, and they trolled us big time with this announcement. There's 3 new Gears games, and they first showed the Gears logo on screen. Everyone's like, yeah, the crowd started cheering. And then out came some Funko Pop characters.
Hold up. Let's
And
get
with,
a few. Let's get a few.
With like a mobile game. That was like the biggest buzzkill for a second. Then they're like, just kidding,
Yeah.
we do have a new game.
I was
And then
hyped for the Funko Pop, yo. I was hyped.
No, it did
Yeah.
look cool, but I think
The Wet Bandits.
the
you know what I'm saying?
mobile part of it was the like,
Nice.
it's a mobile game? That's kind of a buzzkill.
Yeah. But
And
yeah.
then they moved into
Anyway.
their second game, and they're like Gears Tactics. And for some reason, this one is like only on PC, I think, which is also weird. But then finally, they moved into the big announcement, Gears 5. And it's still unclear if they dropped the of war part in the title, and they're just going with Gears 5. But gameplay for this looked really good. A female protagonist, which is always good to see in video games because there's not many. But it looks like it's going to take a really cool turn for the series and a real new tone.
Yeah, it was a very strange announcement because they kind of had a bubble and then they popped it with the Funko Pop, and then you're like, oh, okay, here's the real Gears game, but then it still was like, nope, that's still not it. And then they finally dropped the Gears 5. So I don't know if that was the best way to announce it. It was quite the roller coaster, but yeah, very interesting that they're gonna do three games.
I guess it's
Gears.
smart in the fact that I got us talking about all 3 when normally would have only talked about the one. So,
True. Yeah, that's true.
and then everyone thought, again, another troll job. Everyone thought the Xbox conference was over. Phil Spencer came out, kind of said his closing remarks, and then we got a hacker, a hacker encore, and probably the game most people were excited to see something from any conference. They were just waiting for it to pop up. Cyberpunk 2077, the new game from CD Projekt Red, which infamously did The Witcher 3, which is one of the best acclaimed games of this generation. So this game, again, no real gameplay here, but it looks like it's going to be awesome. We know their track record. We know they do amazing things. What do you guys think?
Yeah, it was super cool to see that. Just the way they kind of, dropped that announcement was really cool. And yeah, I mean, I think people were completely jazzed for seeing anything about this game. And sure enough, they delivered it in a really cool way. Who knows, how far along it is and when it will come out. But I think it provided what people were looking for. And yeah, the studio, I think, is kind of quickly climbing the ranks up there with like Naughty Dog and Rockstar as far as like guaranteed awesome game. So I know people are stoked for it.
Do you think Cyberpunk will become a fashionable choice like Steampunk has become for people?
Yeah.
Is that a fashionable choice?
Is it? It is.
Like Gears and Steam and like what?
I was going to wear my Steampunk outfit for this podcast, but that's my other podcast. So
Yeah, you have the
yeah.
Steampunk gaming prediction podcast as well.
it's just me predicting if
Steampunking.
Steampunk game will come out. No, this one will be a Steampunk game, pretty sure. So
Yeah,
I can't even think of one.
Steampunk game. The Order, is it the Order? Isn't that one?
There you go.
Is
I
that
got one.
right?
Yep,
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah.
That game was actually
There you
that game
go.
was actually surprisingly fun. It looked amazing.
Yeah.
Very short.
I liked it.
It was not worth $60. I got it for like $8 or whatever when it was on sale. I think maybe
Yeah, I believe
even
it's
cheaper.
on sale
Steam-
for like $4 right now, $3.99.
It's worth a playthrough. It actually might be the best looking game on the PlayStation. That's actually saying a lot. It looks that good. Let's move on to the next E3 conference, which is Bethesda. We kind of heard a lot about all these games leading up to E3 and through the other conferences that preceded this one. But their biggest announcement was Fallout 76. We got a lot more news about it. Biggest information was that it's 4 times the size of Fallout 4, which is way too big. They don't need to do that. Stop doing that. Like I started playing Fallout 4 and I was like, this is overwhelming. So to make it 4 times the size, that's just unnecessary. I think like people are just like throwing out buzzwords like our open world is this big, and we talked about the last podcast. Give me more linear, man. Like I don't need to be jogging around like holding down the sprint button trying to get to the next waypoint.
Yeah, that hurts your
Seriously.
thumb a lot, in my opinion.
Yeah.
A lot of games have moved to the strategy where you just click it in once and you don't need to hold it in.
Right. I still hold it in out of habit, though.
I know I do too a lot of the time, and then it makes you not sprint. So
Yeah, I'm the same way. Like, I don't know if I ever gave the series a fair shake, but I just kind of know it's not for me. I mean, I think I appreciate it for what it's trying to do and what it is, and just like what that series has done for gaming, but it's just not for me.
yeah,
You know?
it's
Yeah, I agree with that. It looks really cool, and I think they're taking that franchise into a cool direction and bringing it more online if people wish to play it that way. And but overall, not for me either, just because it's too big and I don't have enough time to play it.
It's a prequel though, so I guess if you play this one, you're good to play all the other ones after. So maybe it'll get you hooked.
Yeah.
Maybe
Anyway,
not.
that's all of
Maybe
our-
not as well.
That's all of our great Fallout information. It's up there with our information on Devil May Cry in
Right.
terms
Right.
of how much we know.
Yeah, Fallout. It's like like where the blocks come down and then you try to fit them in. Is that right? Yeah.
It's originally
Oh, yeah.
on the TI-83. It was where you had to move around.
Yeah. That was the best version of it. Yeah.
That was Breakout. My bad.
Yeah.
Silly you.
It's open world Breakout.
Maybe I would try that.
Their next announcement was The Elder Scrolls 6, and again, a franchise I'm not very familiar with, very open world. And that was funny, we praised them last podcast about them sticking to linear games, and then here they come out with two massive open world games.
Yeah.
True
Have you
that.
guys played any of the Elder Scroll games?
I have not. I actually did try a little bit of it, I think, on Xbox 360, but yeah, I just wasn't hooked for whatever reason. Something about that medieval aesthetic is hard for me to get into.
Yeah, I'm pretty hit or miss with that stuff. Like I actually do really like some medieval stuff. I talked about Dark Souls and everything, but yeah, this one's just might be a little too much for me.
So, Elder Scrolls 6, that was an announcement.
Although before
That
we
was
move on
announced.
from Bethesda, I do have to give credit to they did have two linear games coming out that I'm very excited for, which are I'm assuming they're linear: Doom Eternal and then Wolfenstein Youngblood.
Yeah, you're stealing my thunder, Casey. You're taking over the host role. Those are the next two
Well,
things on
he
my
was
list.
fearing that you were gonna move on to the next developer without him.
I thought we were going chronologically here, and
he
Elder
was
Scrolls
he
was
was
the
trying to
last
get
thing.
his little blurb in, man.
The only things he should
I
fear
had that on my
are
blurb.
the enemies in Doom Eternal. That was really bad.
Is this another game
Nailed
that's
it.
not doing the numbering system? Am I correct about that?
Yeah, I guess it'd be even more
Yeah.
confusing with Doom since, I mean, they went back to
Since-
just calling it Doom,
Right.
but there's been a lot of other Doom
Yeah.
games.
Correct.
So
Yeah, Doom 2 was like there've been like 2 Doom 2s already.
we can't have 3 Doom 2s because that's Doom 6, and that would be Doom Infinite then, as the Halo system tells us.
Doom 4 Factorial, I believe.
Yes. But Doom Eternal, yeah, I'm super excited about that. First one was great.
I
They
feel
didn't really
like there's
show us
like
much for this. They just kind of announced it.
there's like buzzwords that you could just throw on to make a game a sequel. Infinite. Infinite.
Eternal.
Eternal's probably up there with it too.
Eternal. That's what I'm saying. There's just like seems like that's. I'm not saying it's a bad name by any means, but
But I mean, there's been plenty of bad names. Look at the Xbox One in itself is a bad name.
the Xbox
Ba-
One X.
We had Battlefield 4, then we had Battlefield 1, and now we have Battlefield 5. So
Well,
numbers.
Or is it
I see why
Battlefield
people just
V?
drop them. Anyway, Wolfenstein Youngblood looks pretty cool as well. Online co-op. You play as the twins that are born at the end of the new Colossus. Spoiler alert, but the devs also said spoiler alert. It's not that much of a... It might be. I don't know. But to make a whole game predicated on that, I guess the game itself is a spoiler, so...
Yeah, it looks really cool. I really dig the aesthetic it seems to have with the whole 80s and being like a lot more colorful, and the twin girl protagonists are something I would never have really expected from a Wolfenstein game, but it looks awesome. I'm totally ready to jump into that.
Yeah, this is definitely one I think where we might pick up together and do some online co-op and play.
Online co-op, you know I'm in.
It's not triplets, Kyle.
Oh, so I'm excluded? This is horseshit.
We'll hand you an unplugged controller and say that.
Look,
you
I'm
are
doing stuff.
stuff.
I'm doing stuff. Yeah.
Give you the Tyco third-party controller.
Yeah. And Kyle says he's not bad at video games.
Yeah. That's how you keep me happy. Just hand me the unplugged one. I'm good.
It's a Mad Catz, actually, not a Nike.
Mad
Oh, yeah.
Cat.
Let's move on to the next day, Monday, June 11th, which was yesterday, I guess. Square Enix. Again, a lot of these games they announced at previous conferences, but their biggest one probably, I don't know, they have a lot of big ones. Shadow of the Tomb Raider. We got a lot more news about this. It's coming out pretty soon, coming out in the fall, September, I believe. Got some more gameplay. It looks good. It looks fun.
Yeah, I played the first two, and I look at it as a version of Uncharted that I enjoy more. I think it's just they take that genre and kind of take it up a notch. I mean, I think Uncharted is a great series, but I actually enjoy Tomb Raider a lot more. So, and I'm excited to see this like apparent new darker version of Lara Croft. I think that could be really badass. I mean, she's badass to begin with, so
I'm a sucker for RPG elements in a game, so when you compare it to Uncharted, I think where it like has an edge on Uncharted is the fact that it has those RPG elements where you can kind of level up stats in your character, and it makes it a little more fun when you find things and get XP bonuses.
Yeah, it's more
very similar
immersive
gameplay
to me. It feels like it's me instead of like just a guy.
Well, you're very attractive as a female, Kyle.
Yeah, thanks so much. You weren't supposed to tell people about that, but
No problem.
okay.
Beyonce drop.
Don't show them the photos.
Their other big announcement, this one was leaked right before E3, and we talked about the last podcast. I said it didn't need to happen. It's happening anyway. Just Cause 4. Did you guys play the last?
Well, they had to
iteration?
do it just cause,
You're on
Yeah,
fire
I mean-
with the puns.
I played that game just because it was free on PlayStation Plus.
Oh man.
So yeah, I played a little bit. I wasn't super hooked, although it was pretty fun flying around and like blowing stuff up. But yeah,
You
to me,
described the premise of the game perfectly.
Blow shit up.
yeah, exactly.
You fly around
me-
and blow stuff up.
Stuff.
Yeah, the
Excuse
fact
me.
that this
is
game-
family podcast.
On
Yeah.
Apple Podcasts, we are actually, I say, no profanity. so
Demonetized.
Oh,
we are now no longer on the
I think you can
podcast
say
app.
that on TV now, so that's actually not a profane word anymore.
We're good. We're golden.
Yep.
yeah.
Just
I
because you
think,
wanted to.
I think the fact that Just Cause was sort of like shown very close to all this other hype with Rage 2 kind of hurts Just Cause, because honestly Rage 2 looks a lot cooler as far as like the aesthetic and just craziness of it, but also being in that same sort of wheelhouse of like destructive just craziness type of gameplay. So I don't know, I think Rage 2 kind of stole the thunder out of Just Cause, so I don't know. We'll see how it does.
We'll see. That comes out fairly soon too. I think like December. So that's
Yeah.
much sooner than expected.
Yeah, no, that one's nearing the end of its
DLC
numbered
in the cut.
sequel sounding coolness as well. 5 is cool though, but Just Cause 6, they need to do like Just Cause Infinite or something like that. So
Yeah, I mean they should do it, just cause.
Just Cause.
Oh, man. We already talked way too much about that game and gave no information about the actual game. So
So we
Thank you for
should
listening,
do
guys.
more on that.
the person that won't be listening to this podcast is thinking this is bad. The game they announced next was The Quiet Man, which looks like you play as a deaf guy. So great lead in,
soon.
great lead into that game.
That's an interesting way to describe a deaf person. The quiet man. Like honestly.
That's the name of the game.
Yeah, he's probably quiet because he can't hear. Okay.
they started off this game by showing like a live action trailer that seamlessly blended into like a CGI gameplay trailer. I don't know. It looks cool. It looks like a fighting game, and I guess you're deaf, so that could add like a lot of really cool situations and gameplay styles.
Yeah, it sounds like I'm trying to make a joke here, but I wonder what they're going to do with the sound design for that game. It sounds like, but there might be like, you know, muffling, EQ.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, I imagine as well. That's what I was thinking
Yeah.
as well.
Maybe
I
a
mean,
few kind of things.
Yeah, pew, 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 pew.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Yeah,
Some pew pews.
it's set in the Star Wars universe, apparently.
yeah, definitely.
Speaking of cool universes, this game from Platinum Games got everyone really excited. Babylon's Fall. Not much shown here. This is more of just like a trailer with words again, where they kind of went through historic points. But the Fall of Babylon is what I assume it's based on, and it's from Platinum Games, which has done some really great stuff in the past. So what do you guys think?
I actually didn't have a chance to look at this one too closely yet. So that's all I have to say.
Same
They
here.
didn't show much, honestly. But Platinum
Yeah.
Games is best known for, they did the Nier Automata game recently.
Yeah.
And then they also did the Bayonetta games, which are very popular on Nintendo consoles.
Do you guys think that?
Yeah,
that-
I think they have proven themselves as a good studio.
Yeah, not to like, you know, go off track too much, but do you think when they do the just logo on the screen, really limited reveal, do you guys actually find yourself being more excited about a game because it's more mysterious?
I do not.
You'd rather see some stuff.
I think the thing that gets me the most excited, and again, we'll talk about this to close out Sony's show, but gameplay footage is what gets me, because that's what it makes you buy the game. You want to see gameplay, you know what I mean? How does it actually function when I would be playing the game? And that's really what gets me. I mean, I saw Super Smash Bros. Ultimate today, which we'll, again, talk about later, but I saw that and like, oh, I want to pre-order that game now. Which
Yeah,
I
I think that's
I
a great-
don't pre-order games much either.
I think that's a great question. Is like, why exactly do these publishers announce these games and have nothing to show except for a title? And on one hand, it makes for a really cool moment because the whole crowd erupts in applause.
The
usually.
crowd goes so loud,
But,
he opens his mouth.
Yeah. Mom spaghetti. But at the same time,
Sure, a
it
lot of
doesn't
you
really give us
gamers had
any-
that for dinner. Mom's spaghetti came out of the basement.
Oh yeah.
Anyway,
Why are you ridiculing our audience? That
I'm
would
not.
be listening
It's a
to this
joke.
show?
It's a joke. We're all gamers. We've all ate our mom's spaghetti. So
Yeah.
That
that's good
sounds
stuff.
bad too, man.
demonetized.
There goes all of our money. But yeah, I don't know. I think it doesn't provide much more. It has no value beyond just that cool moment, like in that moment. So I kind of wish these companies would hold off until they could show a little bit more, at least like a little bit of gameplay or a cool cinematic that showed us what the game will be like. But that's just me.
A game that we finally got a ton of gameplay for, which we've all been itching for, and more importantly, we got a release date for. Kingdom Hearts 3 coming out January 29th, 2019. We saw some new worlds. We're getting a Frozen world. So you know that everyone's son and daughter will be obsessed with this game. And then we also saw a Pirates world, which really caught me by surprise because they haven't done much with like worlds with real people, I guess. Does that make sense?
It's like a Mario Odyssey situation. A
Yeah.
New Donk City vibes.
Have they ever done it
You're
before?
right.
I can't think of a situation they've done that before.
Real Mermaids. They did that.
No, that was a cartoon, Little Mermaid. Although Disney right now is doing a ton of live action remakes. They did Beauty and the Beast.
That's true.
They did the other
To
one.
varying degrees of
Yeah,
success.
Jungle Book. That's what I was thinking of. They had The Lion King coming out, which
That looks kind of sick.
I love live action Lion King because that means it's all CGI anyway. So
Right. Yeah. It's kind of a.
there's literally no people in that movie.
Crazy.
Oh man.
Anyway, we
Yeah,
got
it's really weird to see Johnny Depp standing next to Goofy. Two things I would never have imagined being on the screen together. But
Right.
That's the cool thing about the Kingdom Hearts games is you do get these worlds that come together in a way you never thought you would see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so I this what this means is I need to go back and play my, compilation for PS4, the older games, because I kind of stopped after I got that, and the new trailer made me excited again because it's one of my favorite games from childhood. Honestly, I really loved Kingdom Hearts.
Definitely. And if you haven't played any of the older ones, they did announce that only on PlayStation will you be able to buy all of the games together. So you get 1.5 remix, 2.5 remix, all those other ones in there, 2.8 and 3. They have a great numbering system. Let's just call it Kingdom Hearts Infinite.
Yeah.
Jump the gun on your car.
Nice.
No, I was just I was helping you bring it home, man. That's what
I did. I brought it home for you.
Yeah. Has there ever been? Well, yes. The answer is yes, but like this much hype and build up over such a long period of time for a game. I mean, it's probably hasn't happened too many times, but.
And surprisingly, it looks really good too. It looks better than I even thought it would. But I think it's also, you're looking at with rose-colored glasses where you're like, remember how 1 and 2 looked? And those came out so long ago, and then on PS2, so like anything that looks better than that is going to look great.
Yeah, but I just think I like how it stays true. Like you don't feel like you're playing such an updated. Well, I didn't play it, but just looking at it, like it doesn't look so far removed from those old games. It's just like kind of like they just brought it to the new era. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, I agree. I think if they actually pulled off like mixing together so many different like styles of visuals, like live action, like the CG look, and then also purely animated, like 2D animated stuff. At least that's where it started with like Goofy and Mickey and everything. Somehow those all work together on screen at the same time, and I think they did a good job with that.
Exactly. So excited to finally get my hands on that game. Have had it pre-ordered. I think it'll be 5 years by the time it actually comes out. So that's a record.
Yeah, I think I made my last time's joke was that I pre-ordered it when I was going through puberty. So
it's close to accurate.
I'm still going through it. So.
Oh, so a couple years ago?
Yeah.
Same joke I did last time.
Well, this might be the first one people heard, so we can repeat some early material.
Just cause we can.
Just cause. Infinite.
Oh man.
Nice.
And
Very
people
nice.
turn it off. Let's
You're
move
still
on to
with
the
us.
next conference.
We appreciate you.
And good night,
Ubisoft.
everyone. No.
We predicted this next game pretty well when we talk about Ubisoft's conference. Assassin's Creed Odyssey. We didn't know the name, but we said probably an Assassin's Creed game that follows the Origins pattern and uses the same engine, and that's exactly what this is. It looks very, very similar to Origins, which was a very fun game, but I don't know. I think they need to kind of separate themselves sometime. I think they did a world of good when they stepped back and took a longer look at the series and the franchise and what they wanted to do. So for them to kind of drop this so quickly after Origins and for it to look so similar, I don't know. I think it'll be a good game. It'll be fun, but I like to see some new innovations in my games sometimes.
Yeah, and for me, I think Egypt. Well, I haven't. You can't judge a book before it comes out, but I think Egypt.
Unless it has a sucky cover.
Right, you can judge it based on the cover, but
Which
to
is
me,
the same.
to me,
You
Egypt
can.
is one of the coolest and most interesting historical periods and civilizations, and I think not that Greece isn't, but I think just Egypt has it beat, and they dropped that one first, so it's making it a little less exciting for me.
Yeah, I'm just looking forward to Assassin's Creed Galaxy, and then later on down the road, Assassin's Creed 64.
Yeah, definitely.
Speaking of another sequel game, The Division 2, a Destiny-type game, they announced raids are coming to The Division 2. Everyone likes raids. I think it's 8 people in this game, though, so that's fun. It looks better than the first one. I think they learned their lesson from the first one. They said a lot of the season pass stuff is going to be free, at least for the first year. So kind of taking a cue from Destiny of what doesn't work and what people don't want to do, and that's keep paying for this stuff. They just want to buy the game and be able to play it with their friends and be able to still play with their friends even when their friends get a new DLC.
Yeah, that's super understandable because that is kind of frustrating.
Yeah, I think the raids are a good move for them. That seems to be a popular thing in these multiplayer games, so I'm sure it'll be a hit. We'll see.
Yeah. And last thing we'll talk about with Ubisoft is Beyond Good and Evil 2. Still, they just showed us a new they just showed us a new cinematic trailer. Not much to talk about here. It's looking promising. Looks like they're going to keep working on it. There's a lot of fear that it wouldn't come out, but it's good to see some more stuff from the game, even if it's only cinematic.
Yeah, the cinematic trailer looked like just as good and amazing as any Pixar or any animated film I've ever seen. Like visually looked awesome. I wish they kind of told us more about what the game's going to be about, since it was basically just a short film that they showed. But
yeah, still no idea.
We'll
but it's crazy how good computer animation has gotten to the point where, so many studios, just video game studios, can basically make movies now.
Yeah.
It's not just John Lasseter and crew anymore.
It's not. It is not. Speaking of John Lasseter and happy things, let's talk about the Last of Us 2 trailer. And the Sony press conference. Ooh, they started this off on a high note. They gathered people into a church-like setting, which they emphasized many, many times. Thank you for coming to this church. You fulfilled your obligation for Sunday since you're in this church. I was like, why do they keep harping on church so much? And then the Last of Us 2 trailer started, and the setting in that trailer was the same exact setting that they brought all these people in to watch the trailer. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty creative. And then seamlessly from the cinematic trailer, they went into gameplay. And this was one of the best gameplay trailers I think I've ever seen. If the game actually comes out looking like this, with the gameplay style looking like this, the animations were so smooth. There's a part where Ellie's running. She picks up a bottle without stopping and throws it all in one motion. I was like, if I can do that in the game, this will be the greatest game of all time.
Yeah, I was watching it live, obviously, at the same time you were, Zach, and I just kept hitting you up on the Slack channel. I was just like, damn, is this real? It was, I thought it was, like you said, seriously, the best, if that is the actual graphics that we're going to get when the game releases, that's the best graphics I've ever seen in a video game, honestly.
Yeah, I agree. I was totally captivated watching the gameplay because it was so fluid and tense, and Ellie was just running all around the map like crazy, and it just looked so fluid. And overall, I think the thematically, it looks way darker than the previous Last of Us game, which was already really dark. And just from a violence point of view, we saw some disemboweled guts, and she was starting to hack away at this guy's neck at the end of it, and pretty intense, but it looks awesome, I have to say.
Yeah, I loved how the it was her embracing, kissing her lover, and then it's all this violence going on, and then it's sandwiched again with a happy moment. So it's I don't know, I thought that was really powerful, kind of like Scorsese, how he puts happy music behind his murder scenes and stuff. It kind of makes you feel little
the
little
juxtaposition
weird.
is
hashtag juxtaposition.
That's what we're here for. We're here for the hashtags.
Here to teach you some valuable vocabulary.
It's amazing how good a job Naughty Dog does with just small things like animations. She gets shot by an arrow, and there's an animation of her pulling out the arrow, or her pulling out the arrow of another person that was shot to take that arrow to use. It's crazy. That stuff you never think about. So many video games just you hold X, you grab the arrow, and it kind of just disappears from in front of you, and it's in your inventory. Versus here, they actually go through the whole process of how did you acquire that? And it's those, the attention to detail that I think makes Naughty Dog games amazing.
Yep, that's what separates the boys from the men.
Yeah, totally.
The next game also had a lot of attention to detail in the gameplay trailer we saw from Sucker Punch. Ghost of Tsushima, I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly. But this game looked really fun. You're kind of like a samurai, old school Japanese setting where you're running around, the wind's blowing, there's leaves blowing everywhere, and you got to take out some other bad guys, bad samurais, maybe. I don't know what they're called, but a lot of good sword play.
A lot of samurai games coming out.
2,
Yeah.
3. No, then I guess.
Well, isn't
I don't know.
Neo 2
A lot
as
of
well?
samurai,
Neo 2.
samurai game.
Yeah, I thought the colors of this game,
Hello?
like in that flower field when it first opened, were like looking really awesome. And I also liked how the combat was pretty slow paced, actually. Like it felt substantial and almost like the first Dark Souls game where you have to take things really slowly and methodically. And yeah, I'm pretty excited for that game.
Yeah, no firm release date on this one as of yet. Sucker Punch did great work with the Infamous series, so I'm excited to see what they do here. And then we brought up this game a lot throughout this podcast today. Neo 2 is coming out. They got like a short 1 minute kind of just thrown in there announcement, but I think a lot of people are excited about this.
Yeah, I thought the first one was super solid. I didn't actually complete the game. You know, I got sidetracked. Something else came out. I started playing that, whatever. But I thought Neo was an awesome adaptation of the Souls series style, and but it had its own aesthetic, which I thought was really cool. But you know, I think Shadows Die Twice is what I'm looking to get, as I said before.
So the next game that kind of caught me by surprise and didn't see it coming, but it actually had me excited. I sent you guys some gameplay of this game right before we started here. Resident Evil 2 remaster.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
Hey.
Unexpected. I love seeing remasters of games that actually like need a remaster. Like this is a PS1 game. You know what I mean? The graphics needed some updating, and it looks good. Originally in the first trailer, the cinematic trailer didn't look as like that great, but then I sent you the gameplay. I was like, oh, this looks fun. It looks creepy. It has that brought back everything from it. Like you have no bullets basically, and you gotta survive.
Yeah, it looks awesome.
Yeah, I saw a tweet from Matt Sohinki, who is formerly a Smosh Games and now Toaster Ghost that he started. You know, I used to work at Smosh Games, but he tweeted that he played the game and it felt and played awesome. So I'm excited too.
Nice. Any input, Casey?
I'm very excited for it. I never actually played the original, Resident Evil 2, but I really dig how this looks like a complete remake, and yeah, it looks fun, and I'm definitely down to play it. I loved Resident Evil 7, played that whole thing in VR, and it was quite the experience. So,
did you
I'm
cry?
excited for more.
Did you cry when you?
I cried 100% of the time.
Casey cries all the time.
That's just my normal status quo. Yeah.
It's weird that he's not right now.
Yeah, it's quite a rare thing that right now it's the tears have stopped.
I can just picture him just like shrieking in fear with the headset on. Like, well, when you have the headset on, the tears get collected in there. So
yeah, it adds to the experience a little.
You guys just segued that perfectly because we were talking about crying. So let's talk about Death Stranding.
Let's
which
talk
I still
about
have no idea.
getting your emotions out in a healthy manner.
That's apparently what Death Stranding is about. There's Norman Reedus is crying a lot. There's some babies. I'm delivering packages, maybe.
I love
Simulator.
that trend in games now that you see a trailer and you're like, wait, that's an actor I've seen. Like we're getting to the, I mean, it's happened. That wasn't the first one, Kevin Spacey, which that guy's
not the first one, but yeah, he was in.
That guy's a giant yikes these days.
Call of Duty.
Too soon.
But yeah, too soon. But anyway, no, I like that. I think it's cool. It's like it's becoming more like you're seeing a movie trailer. It's like kind of blurring the lines. Do
you guys have any idea what this game is about, though?
Does anyone?
No.
It's extremely cryptic, and I wasn't actually very impressed with what appeared to be the gameplay of him just sort of like running around these landscapes with a backpack on. But I kind of read a little bit more about it, and especially going off of like the final scene of that gameplay trailer where he obviously had like a baby in his like canister attached to some sort of sensor that was sensing like these otherworldly entities, and
you described that way better than I was going to. I was going to say it's like a baby fan
a baby fan that shows stuff.
I'm a baby fan. I find them adorable.
Yeah, I think it's going off of the fact that, you know, maybe these babies can see things that adults can't in this world, and therefore they need them to kind of navigate this territory or whatever. I don't know. We'll see. It looks very stylish.
It looks like Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, but with Norman Reedus.
Exactly.
I have no idea what it is. It looks like a puzzle solving. I literally have no idea.
I'll be honest. Things like that intrigue me more than like an Assassin's Creed announcement, because I think you really don't know what it's about, and I kind of like puzzle elements more than I like like we already said, the open world thing isn't our favorite, but I like cryptic stuff like that. I really do.
I love seeing new things too, you know what I mean? Like pushing the video game industry to its limits. Like, what will people actually accept and what will people actually enjoy? And I think Kojima's really going for that here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
absolutely.
he has some masterpieces under his belt, so let's let the man do what he's doing. You know what I mean?
Let's see what happens with Death Stranding. Hopefully we get some more info soon. This next game has a ton of info out, and it's coming out really soon, and boy, does it look good. I think the last gameplay video they did actually after like E3 was over was what really got me, when they showed the open world of Spider-Man going through Manhattan. Marvel Spider-Man from Insomniac Games. This game just looks like pure fun. I think that's the best way to describe it.
Yeah, the fluidity of all of his moves, and like just how many different attacks he seemed to have, like, you know, shooting like little web things, and you know, swinging objects around and hitting people. Yeah, it looks extremely promising and just pure fun, and I have pretty good high hopes for that game.
Yeah, I kind of liken it to, you know, the Arkham series, as far as how cool. I mean, Batman, I think he is my favorite superhero, but I think in video game form, those games are incredible, don't get me wrong, but I think for video games, having Spidey's sense of humor and his youthfulness and everything that goes along with that, I think that just is going to make for a hell of a good time, like in a, you know, sitting down and playing through that game. And just the level of detail, I saw that sometimes when you're swooping down through the city, you hear like dialogue from characters kind of surprised that you're swooping through the city, and I just think that's cool. All that stuff looks awesome.
This is definitely, I think, out of like all the games I saw at E3, I mean, a lot of them aren't as far along, obviously, as Spider-Man, but this is one I saw. I was like, yeah, definitely going to buy that one.
Peter
yeah.
Parker.
There were some other games
Just
I saw.
showing my comic book knowledge by
I
dropping that
think
name.
Miles Morales is actually in it as well. They confirmed that.
The other Spider-Man.
Yeah. Anyway,
And Tobey Maguire is confirmed in it as well.
and then Andrew Garfield and Tom Holland as well.
Mm-hmm. It's like a big Spider-Man orgy. So demonetized. No.
Oh,
Speaking of orgies, it looks like the villains are having one, because it looks like the Sinister Six are back. They showed 5 main villains, and then they kind of teased a 6th one at the end, which people are trying to speculate who it is. Probably the Green Goblin would make a lot of sense.
Was
Main adversary, most people know him.
Yes.
We'll see. I'd love to see the Sinister Six.
My boy
show
Willem
up in video
Dafoe.
games.
Willem Dafoe confirmed.
This guy knows the Spider-Man movies
I'm great with casts.
and
general.
actors.
This guy knows stuff.
He has IMDb up right now.
This guy knows how to use
Wait, you
IMDb.
saw that? Click.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some other games I'm excited to buy came from Nintendo's conference today. They didn't announce a lot, but they announced 2 things that I think we're all really excited for, and that's Super Mario Party.
Yes, that was in my quick. What'd you call that? Quick jabs. Quick
cuts.
Quick cuts. See, that was
cutscene.
the segment that was just thrown in our faces with no preparation. But
I'm
I
still
forgive you.
reeling from
I'm
that.
still reeling from that experience. But yes, Super Mario Party. It's a game you can play with anybody, obviously, and it just looks cool. I like it.
Yeah, I am super excited for that. I love the Mario Party games. When they came out on N64, I think I had every one of them. And yeah, I just love the whole mini game kind of style, and I'm sure we'll see a lot of cool stuff with the new title.
Yeah, we were literally discussing today. Obviously we live on separate coasts, New York, Pennsylvania, California, and we're already planning like when's our actual real life Mario Party that we're gonna go play this game. We'll make it happen, guys.
Yeah.
We'll make it happen. Which actually made me think.
No
did they
girls allowed.
announce-
I'll bring the Doritos.
Did they announce online for Super Mario Party? Because it seems like it's a perfect game for that. I know a lot of people like playing in person, honestly. We all do. We're planning the trip. But online would be super fun for this game as well.
Yeah, that could be said about
I'm
a
not
whole
sure.
bunch of games. Online co-op or online function.
The next game is very online. Fortnite, which they also dropped today on the same day they announced it. And we talked about Unravel 2 and how we like to see that. I mean, that's what's pretty obviously going to happen. This game is massive right now. So Fortnite on the Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, they probably couldn't. They couldn't have afforded to wait. Even almost, it's just like might as well
Yeah.
start collecting the moolah
Extra
now.
tens of millions.
It seems like it's a pretty easy game for them to port based on how they're just throwing it everywhere.
Based on the
So-
PS2 graphics.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy how many platforms it's on, but I think it has to do with the fact that they created the engine that it's running on, so I'm sure they have full, control
Yeah.
over everything with that.
Good for them. They figured out a way to make money with a free game. And you don't even all the stuff we talked about the last game. It's the last podcast. It's all cosmetic stuff really that you pay for. So good for them. I think that's the way we like to see free to play games being done.
Couldn't
Yeah.
agree more.
And lastly, let's wrap up with not Infinite, but Ultimate. Super
Ooh,
Smash
yeah,
Bros.
that's
Ultimate.
the other good.
Yep.
Cut.
Yeah,
It's Infinite, Eternal, and Ultimate.
we gotta, as we do more of these episodes, we gotta do a little tally of how many games use that. Those
Those are
three.
those are my quick cuts for endings for a video game title.
Yeah.
But Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, they really caught me by surprise with this one by saying every single character from every single Super Smash Bros. Ever is available in this one. And then also some new characters thrown in there as well.
That's how you get people excited, right there.
Yeah, I was very surprised. Even Mega Man and Snake are back, which is really cool. Because I honestly wasn't expecting that. But yeah, this is going to be a great game. I'm sure it'll be hugely popular. And the fact that they also are going to support GameCube controllers, which I know the hardcore Smash Brother players like to use that controller. So I think this is a recipe for massive success for them.
Yeah, I like how they are incorporating gameplay tweaks from Smash 4 to this one, as far as like incorporating a little more of the speed of Melee into it, is what I heard. And I'm not a huge Smash guy, but I've been recently getting into more like fighting games. I know it's not exactly the quintessential like standard fighting game. It has a lot more going on, but definitely excited for this one. I think just the roster alone, that's going to offer so much variety, and it's
I mean, just the fact that there's that many characters in one game gives a lot of value. And
Is it like 36?
They,
something like that.
At least
there's way more than that. There's like
50 something.
more than that. There's like 70 or something.
Really?
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Ridley looks really cool. I was happy to see him make an
Yeah,
appearance and
That was the
straight up
announcement that a lot of people were super excited about.
murdered Mega Man and Mario.
You need a murderous character in the Super Smash Bros. World. There hasn't been too many Jigglypuffs.
Yeah.
But we're out of games to talk about. That's all we got. That was a lot, though. There's a lot of games, a lot of stuff at E3. It's always a fun event every year. Can't wait until next year. What are your guys' final takeaways?
Yeah, I thought overall a really solid showing. I know people had some predictions for other things that we didn't see. I'd be interested in hearing what you guys missed or wish you would have seen. For me, it was I wish we would have seen a Splinter Cell announcement of some sort. I think that
Definitely.
game would have been cool to see, as well as a little bit more information on Metroid Prime 4 would have been really cool. But I'm sure they're hard at work on that, so all we can do is wait. But yeah, is there anything you guys wish we could have seen that we didn't?
You know what? Maybe that should be our next podcast. I'll throw out a sample here. Bloodborne 2 is one we talked about a lot. We didn't get to see that.
Yep,
Oh,
I was gonna say that, but I didn't want to be the From fanboy once again. But we did get their the VR PlayStation exclusive From Software game.
Yeah, that
But-
one looks really interesting. As I was
Very
talking to Kyle
mysterious.
about earlier, there are some speculation that it might be related to Bloodborne in like a prequel kind of manner, but it looks like a very different type of games, and the fact that it's VR kind of doesn't make me believe in that totally. But yeah, we'll see. I'm sure it'll be interesting because it's from Software.
Just Cause.
Well, we're going to wrap up this episode of the podcast. Thank you for joining us on our E3 wrap-up episode. This has been Now Loading, a video game podcast.